Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another air theory test. I've got Mark helping again.
Evening.
He-
Aye, been a long day. Come down with cold, so bear with me. So first in we've got Gillian's Dots, who says good evening, Dano and Mark. Good evening, Gillian. Then Gillian Dot says good evening, D. D says good evening, Gillian. D says looks like the purge tonight, but anyway, good evening, Dano and Mark. Evening, D.
Hey, D.
Mark's Hobby says good luck, Dano.
Hey, Mark. Thanks.
Gillian's Dot says good evening, Mark's Hobbies. Mark's Hobbies says hi, Gillian. And Mark's Hobbies says hi, Mark and Dano. So hi, Mark's Hobbies. Oh. Oh, and D. Harry says evening, Mark's Hobbies.
What should you do if there's a bus at a bus stop ahead of you? Flash your lights to warn the driver of your presence. Pass the bus as quickly as you possibly can. Watch carefully for the sudden appearance of pedestrians. Continue at the same speed, but sound your horn as a warning.
Watch for passengers coming out.
What can cause excessive or uneven tyre wear? A faulty braking system, a faulty exhaust system, a faulty gearbox, a faulty electrical system.
Hang on.
What can cause excessive or uneven tyre wear?
Right. Well, I don't think it's anything to do
A faulty electrical system,
with system or
a faulty exhaust system,
gearbox.
a faulty gearbox,
Could do, but I don't think so.
a faulty braking system.
Yeah, because
What will happen to your car when you drive up a steep hill? The engine will work harder. Overtaking will be easier. The steering will feel heavier. The high gears will pull better.
the engine will work harder.
When would you increase the pressure in your tyres so that it's above the normal value? When carrying a heavy load. When the tyre tread is worn below 2 millimeters. When the vehicle is fitted with anti-lock brakes. When the roads are slippery.
Right. I think if you're carrying a heavier load, you're putting pressure on the tires. So if you increase them a bit more, it could go back down. So I don't think any.
When the tyre tread is worn below 2 millimeters.
No, I think you should change tires.
When the vehicle is fitted with anti-lock brakes.
No. I don't think that would affect anything.
When the roads are slippery.
Okay. But then you're not going to know when the road's going to be slippery unless it's raining heavily.
Where should you park your vehicle at night? In a well-lit area. In a quiet road. On a red route. Near a police station.
Well-lit area.
What does this curved arrow road marking mean? Heavy vehicles should take the next road on the left to avoid a weight limit. The road ahead has a camber to the left. The road ahead bends to the left. Overtaking traffic should move back to the left.
Right. Mm.
The road ahead has a camber to the left. The road ahead bends to the left.
Overtaken. Must move back.
When may you stop on a clear way? During daylight hours. In the rush hour. Never. When it's busy.
Never.
At night, what does it mean if you see a pedestrian wearing reflective clothing and carrying a bright red light? You're approaching roadworks. You're approaching an organized walk. You're approaching a traffic danger spot. You're approaching a slow-moving vehicle.
It's the red light that. Hmm. Think.
You're approaching a traffic danger spot. You're approaching a slow-moving vehicle.
I think it's organized walk.
You're about to drive home. What should you do if you feel very tired and have a severe headache? Wait for a short time, then drive home slowly. Drive home if you can stay awake for the journey. Drive home, but take a tablet for headaches. Wait until you're fit and well before driving.
Wait until you're fit and well.
You want to turn right at a box junction. What should you do if there's oncoming traffic? Drive on. You can't turn right at a box junction. Drive slowly into the box junction when signaled by oncoming traffic. Wait in the box junction if your exit is clear. Wait before the junction until it's clear of all traffic.
Wait in the box junction if your exit is clear.
You arrive at an incident. There's no danger from fire or further collisions, and the emergency services have been called. What's your first priority when attending to an unconscious motorcyclist? Check whether they have any broken bones. Check whether they're bleeding. Check whether they have any bruising. Check whether they're breathing normally.
Normally.
You're driving on a road that has a cycle lane. What does it mean if the lane is marked by a broken white line? You shouldn't drive in the lane unless it's unavoidable. The lane must be used by motorcyclists in heavy traffic. Cyclists can travel in both directions in that lane. There's a reduced speed limit for motor vehicles using the lane. You shouldn't drive in the lane unless it's unavoidable. The lane must be used by motorcyclists in heavy traffic. There's a reduced speed limit for motor vehicles using the lane. Cyclists can travel in both directions in that lane.
I don't think. Oh,
You shouldn't drive in the lane unless it's unavoidable.
Hmm.
The lane must be used by motorcyclists in heavy traffic. There's a reduced speed limit for motor vehicles using the lane. Which sign means no stopping?
big.
You've just passed your first practical driving test. What will you have to do if you get 6 penalty points on your license in the next 2 years? Retake only your theory test. Retake only your practical test. Reapply for your full license immediately. Retake your theory and practical tests.
Retake both.
What should you do if you park on the road when it's foggy? Leave dipped headlights and fog lights switched on. Leave dipped headlights switched on. Leave parking lights switched on. Leave main beam headlights switched on. Leave dipped headlights and fog lights switched on.
Yeah.
What should you be aware of if you've just passed this sign? You can't stop on this road. Only one lane is in use. All traffic is going one way. This is a single track road.
Is it? One-way traffic.
Where should you never overtake a cyclist? On a dual carriageway, on a one-way street, on a left-hand bend, just before you turn left.
Right.
On a left-hand bend, just before you turn left. You're waiting to come out of a side road. Why should you look carefully for motorcycles? Motorcycles can easily be hidden behind obstructions. Motorcycles have right of way. Police patrols often use motorcycles. Motorcycles are usually faster than cars. Motorcycles can easily be hidden behind obstruction. What does the solid white line at the side of the road indicate? Footpath on the left. Traffic lights ahead. Edge of the carriageway. Cycle path.
Edge of the.
Edge of the carriageway. Why should you test your brakes after this hazard? You'll have just crossed a long bridge. Your brakes will be wet. You'll be on a slippery road. You'll be going down a long hill.
Brakes be wet.
What will help you to move off on a snowy surface? Using a high engine speed. Using a higher gear than normal. Using the car's lowest gear. Using the parking brake and foot brake together. Using a higher gear than normal. You're driving on an open road in dry weather. What distance should you keep from the vehicle in front?
2-second gap.
You're on a smart motorway. What does it mean when a mandatory speed limit is displayed above the hard shoulder? You can park on the hard shoulder if you feel tired. You shouldn't travel in this lane. You can pull up in this lane to answer a mobile phone. The hard shoulder can be used as a running lane.
What is the reason for the yellow crisscross lines painted on the road here? To mark out an area for trams only. To warn you of the tram lines crossing the road.
Oh no, I haven't seen them.
To prevent queuing traffic from blocking the junction on the left. To mark the entrance lane to a car park.
Well, going back to some filthy.
To warn you of the tram lines crossing the road.
Oh.
To mark out an area for trams only.
To warn you of the tram lanes.
What style of driving causes increased risk to everyone? Considerate, competitive, defensive, responsible.
Defensive.
When may you use hazard warning lights? When you need to park on the pavement. When you wish to stop on double yellow lines. When you slow down quickly on a motorway because of a hazard ahead. When you leave your car at the roadside to visit a shop.
Not that one.
When you need to park on the pavement.
Mm.
When you wish to stop on double yellow lines. When you slow down quickly on a motorway because of a hazard ahead.
I think that would be.
Why should you try and park in a secure car park? It doesn't cost anything to park here. It makes it easy to find your car. It helps deter thieves. It stops the car being exposed to bad weather.
It helps disturb thieves.
Why is it a good idea to plan your journey to avoid busy times? You will have a more stressful journey. You will have an easier journey. It will cause more traffic congestion. Your journey time will be longer. Why is it a good idea to plan your journey to avoid busy times? You will have an easier journey.
Yeah.
You're being overtaken by a long, heavily laden lorry. What should you do if it's taking a long time for it to overtake? Change direction. Hold your speed. Slow down. Speed up.
Hold your speed.
The fluid level in your battery is low. What fluid should you use to top it up? Battery acid, distilled water, engine coolant, engine oil.
Battery acid.
The fluid level in your battery is low. What fluid should you use to top it up?
What does this sign mean? No motorcycles. Cars only. No cars. Motorcycles only. Which shape is used for a give way sign? What does this traffic sign mean? Slippery road ahead. Service area ahead. Tyres liable to punctures ahead. Danger ahead.
Right.
Service area ahead.
So,
Slippery road ahead. Tyres liable to punctures ahead. Danger ahead.
What can you achieve if you drive smoothly? Reduction in fuel consumption by about 15%. Increase in fuel consumption by about 15%. Reduction in journey times by about 15%. Increase in journey times by about 15%.
reduce.
What's the maximum fine for driving without insurance? £5,000, £1,000, £500, unlimited.
Unlimited.
How should you overtake horse riders? Use your horn just once to warn them. Drive slowly and leave plenty of room. Speed isn't important, but allow plenty of room. Drive up close and overtake as soon as possible. Drive slowly and leave plenty of room.
Yeah.
On a smart motorway, what does this sign mean? Use any lane except the hard shoulder. Use all the lanes, including the hard shoulder. Use the hard shoulder only. Use the 3 right-hand lanes only.
Use the 3 leads only.
You're approaching a crossroads. What should you do if the traffic lights have failed? Be prepared to stop for any traffic. Brake sharply to a stop before looking. Brake and stop only for large vehicles. Be prepared to brake sharply to a stop. Be prepared to stop for any traffic.
Yeah.
Why does this junction have a stop sign and a stop line on the road? The junction is on a downhill gradient. Visibility along the major road is restricted. Speed on the major road is de-restricted. It's a busy junction. Visibility along the major road is restricted. Which sign informs you that you're coming to a no-through road?
C.
How does drinking alcohol affect your driving behavior? It increases concentration. It increases confidence. It improves judgment skills. It leads to faster reactions.
Mm.
It increases concentration. It increases confidence. It improves judgment skills. It leads to faster reactions.
The reaction is going to be more slower.
It improves judgment skills.
No, I think
It increases confidence.
yeah.
It increases concentration. Why should you switch your headlights on when it first starts to get dark? Because the street lights are lit, so that you blend in with other drivers, to make your dials easier to see, so others can see you more easily.
I can see you more easily.
When may you stop on a motorway? In an emergency or breakdown? When you are tired and need a rest? if your mobile phone rings, if you have to read a map.
In emergency or breakdown.
An injured person has been placed in the recovery position. They're unconscious but breathing normally. What else should be done? Place their arms by their side. Check their airway remains open. Press firmly between their shoulders. Give them a hot, sweet drink.
Please.
You've just been overtaken by this motorcyclist. What should you do if the rider cuts in sharply? Flash your lights. Brake firmly. Sound the horn. Keep a safe gap. Brake firmly.
Keep a safe gap.
You pull into a fuel station to fill up your vehicle with diesel. When the tank is full, you reach into the car, pick up your mobile phone and wallet, then walk into the shop to pay. There are a number of other vehicles parked on the forecourt and people standing around them. When you get to the cash desk, you look out of the window in order to check what pump number you have used and see that someone is leaning into your car, apparently searching for valuables. Realizing that you cannot quickly get back to the car, you reach into your pocket to check that you have not left anything important in the vehicle.
What should you do to avoid fuel spillage? Check that you've used a locking filler cap. Check that your fuel gauge is working. Check that your tank is only 3/4 full. Check that your filler cap is securely fastened.
Securely fastened.
You're driving a car that has a diesel engine. What can a loose filler cap on your fuel tank cause? It can make the road slippery for other road users. It can make the engine difficult to start. It can improve your vehicle's fuel consumption. It can increase the level of exhaust emissions.
Could make the road slippery.
What's the safest thing to do if you have to leave valuables in your car? Lock them out of sight. Put them in a carrier bag. Park near a bus stop. Park near a school entrance.
Lock them out of sight.
How can you reduce the chances of your car being broken into when leaving it unattended? Place any valuables on the floor. Take all valuables with you. Park near a fire station. Park near a taxi rank.
Take all values with you.
What should you do when you leave your car unattended for a few minutes? Switch the engine off, but leave the key in. Park near a traffic warden. Leave the engine running. Lock it and remove the key.
Lock it and remove the key.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's go through these. So number 12. A few of these you did rush a little bit on them, Dano.
Yeah.
So you're driving on a road that has a cycle lane. What does it mean if the line is marked by a broken white line? So you can go into the cycle lane if it's unavoidable. If it had a solid white line, it means that you can't go into the cycle lane at all.
Yeah.
Okay. 15. What should you do if you park on the road when it's foggy? Well, you put leave dipped headlights and fog lights switched on. That's going to dazzle other drivers.
Yeah.
So again, it's leave parking lights switched on. 17. Where should you never overtake a cyclist? Now, you put on a one-way street, but if you think about it, do you really want to overtake a cyclist if you're just about to turn left? Because what's that going to do? You're going to cut them up. So, yeah. Just before you turn left. 24. Yeah. What's the reason for this yellow crisscross lines painted on the road? Well, if you think about it, it looks like a box junction.
Yeah. That's what I thought when it first, the box junction, and then when it said
yeah,
traffic, I went, oh, now I can see
Yeah.
Say them just vaguely.
It looks like a box junction, so it's to prevent queuing traffic from blocking the junction on the left.
Because I thought it was for the trams, because I can just make the tram lines out.
Yeah. 25 is now, what style of driving causes increased risk to everyone? So being considerate is good.
Yeah.
Defensive is mean you're not going to be bullied or pushed around.
Yeah.
Okay. Responsible is obviously obeying the laws.
Yeah.
Competitive means that you're boy racing.
Yeah. I think I read that one wrong.
Yeah. So don't be competitive because that's boy racing.
Yeah.
29. Okay, this is where I think you kind of rushed a bit. So you're being overtaken by a long, heavy laden lorry. What should you do if it's taking a long time for it to overtake? Just slow down, slowly decrease your speed and let it overtake.
Yeah.
Don't hold your speed. So
Yeah.
just slow down gradually and let it overtake. 30. Do you know how corrosive battery acid is?
Yeah. Well, I thought,
It's extremely dangerous, is battery acid.
Mm.
So you won't put engine coolant in there. You won't put engine oil in there. So it's distilled water. Even though you don't, well, distilled water is basically water that's been boiled and then cooled.
Right.
But battery acid, no, I wouldn't touch battery acid at all.
Obviously, we're in a battery. I just kind of went, oh, must be battery.
Yeah, no, don't mess with battery acid. It can blind you. It's that corrosive. 31. What does this sign mean? Well, it's telling you not for something, remember? So it's no motorcycles.
I thought that would be an X to it.
No, because remember the sign. Remember the signs are telling you it's not for something.
Right.
So it's no motorcycles. Okay. 32. Which shape is used for a give way sign? It's B. C is a stop sign.
Yeah.
Okay. 34. What can you achieve if you drive smoothly? Now, you've put reduction in journey times by 15%. Well, if you abide by the speed limit, your journey time shouldn't be reduced.
Yeah.
So it's always fuel consumption. So you're not revving the car, you're not braking heavily. It's, fuel consumption. And then 37. On a smart motorway, what does this sign mean? Use all lanes, including the hard shoulder. So on a motorway, you'd normally have 3 lanes, and the 4th lane is open, which is the hard shoulder, so you can use it. And if you notice, they've got a queue ahead sign above it, which means they've opened 4 lanes so that they can get the traffic through.
Yeah.
So that's why. Okay. D says, did fly through that. Take your time and think a little more. But nice work, mate. So, yeah. I think you just rushed a little bit through that tonight.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, I don't know why, but there's a fire engine gone down the school path. And, I don't know why. Flashing its lights, so goodness knows. So, but no, good work. Just, I think at that midpoint when you got to the 30s, you started rushing a little bit.
Yeah.
And not thinking through the answers. And don't rush it. Just take your time. You've got over an hour to complete it. So, just take your time and make sure you get the right answer. But never ever mess with battery acid. It'll burn you. It's very dangerous stuff.
So does the battery actually run out then?
Pardon?
Does the battery actually have to run out and then you have to get rid of it?
Yeah.
Once that happens, you just take the battery out and just get a new one.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, nobody tops up a car battery anymore with distilled water. Basically, you either go to a garage or you get a new battery. It's that
Yeah.
simple. You don't mess around with it. But they used to be able to fill them up with distilled water, but nobody does that anymore. So I would class that as too dangerous to do, but it's still in a theory test, so you still have to know it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Another one next Monday.
right. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so, right. Yeah, good night from me. Well done, Dano. A couple of tricky ones in there, but just don't rush it. Just take your time and try and work out the most logical answer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good night for me, and I'll be on tomorrow night on MCC UK at 8 p.m.
Yeah. And night for me. I'll see you all tomorrow night. Until then, night all.
Night.